Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, our production Gore call, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, and we might as well call this the Viva Las Vegas Beyond the Press Release, Rob Anson, CEO, FOBI AI, trades in Canada under FOBI, FOBI, and for our friends of the US, FOBIF. For those new to the story, this is a tech stack that's always growing, and we're always looking for newer descriptions. The way I want to describe the company now is a leading provider of digital wallet pass technology that provides real-time data analytics, venue management, and all sorts of great functionality for businesses, both retail and venues around the world. Partners, too many exist, so I'm just going to list names. We don't have time to go through what they're doing, but here are just some of the names that you should know about. NeilsonIQ, NTT DATA, TELUS, Oracle, Amazon, the AllNet Resort and Arena project in Vegas, Lightspeed, Spotify, and we go on and on. But what we're going to talk about here today is not one, not two, but three press releases in which the company's venue management technology is being implemented in Nevada as we speak. Rob, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, George, good morning. Thanks for having me.
I was saying the kind of tongue in cheek that this is the Viva Las Vegas Beyond the Press Release with you, but you announced a deal with Sammy Hagar sold out shows at the Strat Hotel Casino and Sky Pod in Vegas. University of Nevada, UNLV for the men's and women's NCAA basketball games, and University of Nevada, Reno as well for your check facts. Before we get to just some of the details, you are starting to dominate Vegas. What is it about FOBI that Vegas has taken such a liking to? Why are you guys leading the way over there?
Well, business is always about relationships. We've built pretty good relationships down here with John Ballister and Brooks Downing from BDG from past events, which gave us the gateway to open the doors, if you will, to larger universities and hotels and whatnot. Just gave us a great chance to showcase what we do. And at the end of the day, we're solving a very large problem that these groups have today. That's the end of the day what it's all about, right? Sense of urgency comes from George has a problem, I got a solution.
And you're in Vegas right now for a reason. I mean, you're signing deals, talking to what's the business landscape looking like for FOBI in Nevada, in Vegas?
Well, it's been a great weekend, a few days down here. Getting to see the technology live in action, of course, is always a pretty cool thing. The universities, you can understand the first contract here is it's about men's and women's NCAA Division I basketball. There's all of their other functions and events that they have within the ecosystem. So it's been a tremendous, I don't want to call it pilot because it's a paid revenue opportunity, of course, but it's been a great showcase. Having a live, real-time, interactive showcase as you walk through the door, the simplicity of what we do, George, is I think what's really captured everyone's interest. The technology is appless, of course, right? So there's no consumer adoption issues. We provide all the detailed analytics and insights to help them remain compliant if they ever need proof, I guess you would say. And I think the biggest one right now is there's so much uncertainty as to what's coming. The value of what we do is we get people in the door, but really we're converting people from unknown to known users. Now you have a direct communication channel to the lock screen. It's web-based as well. So you've got the email capabilities. You're building now a CRM, if you will, to understand and be able to create personalized messaging, personalized content, personalized engagement, upselling other events and interests as they come along. So it's the functionality of what we've delivered, the simplicity, of course, for the user, and it leads to larger opportunities down the road as we are pushing digital transformation right across the board.
And in case people are thinking, you're talking your book, because obviously you're going to say, hey, my product is great, it's simple, it's easy. Here's a quote from Michael Newcomb at UNLV, who said, "We've been so impressed with FOBI's checkback solution and how it'll improve the attendee experience at our games. It's easy to use. It can handle people come from different regions, and the customer service from FOBI has been excellent. I think it's important to say that because it's one thing for you to say, which we believe you obviously, but Agoracom is all about third-party validation. So when I hear that, and I think when investors hear that, that's just a great 1-2 punch. Is it fair to say that Vegas is probably the first, or Nevada is the first to really take on and adopt FOBI, because by its nature, they've got people come from out of state all the time, next to probably even more than Florida, New York. Vegas is that out of state, out of country, and they need to keep a handle on all this.
Well, that's just it. It's an international gateway. Some of our other competitors in the space, they only handle and process a CDC card. So if you have anyone, I guess you would say internationally or out of state, even perhaps, George. I was at the Raiders game last night again, looking at some of the systems and how we can help those processes, of course, and integrate other elements of what we do. And I have to tell you, it was a 90-minute lineup to get in the game. It wasn't just all Canadians sitting there. There was people from different states that were having issues. So when you start to look at lost revenue, right, you've got 30,000 people or whatever it was outside in the lineup moving like cattle through a door, you're losing millions and millions of dollars, right? So it's very interesting.
Just $50 spend on food, beverage, hat, shirt, just 50, forget about 200, is $1.5 million just right there.
Yeah, as Mike said from UNLV, right? It's a negative customer experience right at the gate, right?
You're frustrated, you're upset.
It's not the teams that are implementing these things. Obviously, it's driven by government and whatnot, but it's unfortunately poor reflection on the team. They're trying to do what they can. The great thing is, like I said, ours doesn't need to replace everything they do. We can fill holes and gaps as it's an agile technology. And I've really concentrated, of course, on Vegas because just that it's an international gateway and a hub, and all the showcased events people see. This comes from time and exposure, and there's no bigger exposure than being down here. Now we're starting to reap the rewards from that. I've been in several meetings since I've been down here with other casinos and other, groups. I guess I can say that it's not just sports specific. It's venue and entertainment. It's anywhere where there's a concentration of people. Now this mandate takes effect, and the digital health pass, I don't see it going away, specifically because it's agenda driven by our government, as we've seen, right? And it's an interesting piece. So I'll just leave it at that is really opened up a lot of doors for us. And it's not just the pass, it's the functionality of the data which comes from it, right? So I think that's where we shine. That's one thing I'm very confident in, is that we're hearing it from groups that have signed deals already, unfortunately, with other competitors of ours, and we hear it all the time. Oh wow, your guys' functionality, your guys' user experience, this is the best product we've seen. So it's not where you start, it's where you finish, and we're looking to finish strong.
And a question that I had further down, but since you kind of touched on it, is I've got to hear, with all these deals, UNLV, Strat Hotel, Reno, University of Nevada, Reno, does that just accelerate the opportunities because you're way past the who else is using it, which is always a problem with any new company on the scene. So how fast, and when you're answering that, if you don't mind, because I can feel the shareholders thinking it, you said it, you're at the Raiders game and you're looking at the experience, and can you mention if you're talking to the Raiders? I don't know if you can, but I've got to ask at the very least.
I can't comment on who I'm speaking to, that, George, but let's just say there's some opportunities that I've checked out, and we'll look to add value where we can to help any of these groups. I think we've got the big Roman Empire. There's Thanksgiving weekend coming up down here. We've got events, T-Mobile Arena once again, huge profile events with, as you know, Gonzaga, right, in town here, ranked #1, sold out building. So it's just another great showcase for for what we're doing. We've got Florida events for the NCAA tournaments as well regionally.
Bahamas.
Bahamas with Bahamar coming up this week. So like I said, it's pretty exciting and very proud that, you know, the little Vancouver company is now, you know, the leader down here in the US.
Is this like a pinnacle? I don't want to say the pinnacle, but a real, another inflection point? Because you've had many along the way, which you have to. First, you have to get technology, then you have to get some LOIs and partnerships. Now it seems like right now, between now and mid-December, it feels like FOBI is going to be on showcase everywhere. Las Vegas in multiple places, Florida, Bahamas, and with big organizations. So does that shift your sales, you know, your sales and marketing to, hey, GeorgeCom, any doubt you had, look at Vegas right now, look at Bahamas, look at Florida, we're hot. And when I mean hot means you're on, you're operating, you're checking people in, you're moving. How much is this an inflection point for that, where you've now a real operator?
Well, of course, yeah, we are a real operator, of course, as you've seen, but it just kind of goes outside of that, George. You know, one that people I think overlook and you'll start to see a lot more about is, you know, our announcement of integration that we did with Empower Clinics was a perfect use case for lab companies, right? We've generated hundreds of leads now through Ian and Mike, of course, on HubSpot of interest. And it's the same side of it. Everyone wants to understand how they can provide a point of differentiating value to their customers. So for me to get here, I have to take a test, of course, for COVID, right? I have to show proof of vaccination. I have to show my passport and whatnot, my hotel booking. We've consolidated all these now to carry them all in our wallet, right? So it's about ease and functionality once again. So like I said, for us, it's not just a few sporting events down here. We're seeing a lot of interest, a lot of opportunity in the lab testing components of it, of course, utilizing the wallet. You know, conferences is still a big one. Crown corporations that we're seeing now, getting people back to work. And it's the big shift of digital transformation. You know, we're in several conversations with some of our country's largest employers, I'll put it that, around employee passes, consolidating once again all of their identity and credentials and stuff, access and entry, third-party health insurance, affiliate marketing, all of these little pieces that remain siloed today, we're building into the wallet. So I said, we're one of the leaders, most definitely in the space. So I'm hearing that over and over as to the validation of the product and what Tamer has built. You know, it is second to none. And like I said, we're not that we're just starting, of course, but we are just starting. You know,
when you're getting competitors' buyer remorse, right?
Yep.
When GeorgeCom goes with ABC wallet and says, man, I should have gone with FOBI, that's probably a pretty good sign. Let's talk about revenue for a second. Just touch on it, because we always want to make sure, look, you're not selling t-shirts and hats in Vegas where people can understand you sell 1,000 hats, 1,000 t-shirts, here's your revenue. So for example, let's talk, use any of the examples that you think would best illustrate how you guys can be generating revenue out of these just these 3 deals that you've announced in the last 7 days.
Yeah, so we have a license, of course, event license. We have an onboarding fee, and then we charge per issuance a pass. So I mean, it's all, you know, it was all there on the website. It's $1 pass. You know, we're seeing onboarding of 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 per event. You know, so the accumulation here, as we said, it's for us, it's an easy one. When we look at the other opportunities now, I've also built out a SaaS model, right? Where instead of DIY, you know, fill your boots, it's $1 a pass. Now we have a fully integrated service. We have a managed service. We handle all the messaging. We handle all the customization.
Wow.
And the data. And, you know, that's anywhere from $3 to $7.50, depending upon what a la carte options you want per user per month. So the recurring revenues here now, building the enterprise.
They're They're really starting to
Well,
pile up.
well, it is, and it's just it's interesting because I've assisted in a lot of calls in the last few weeks with our TELUS procurement team, and it is everyone at that level. Of course, they don't want DIY; they're not built for it. They have the budget, and it's all about the managed service and integration and customization and all these other various components, the value adds. And for us, that's fantastic because it's the MRR associated to that in term of contract and user, we're talking 25,000, 50,000, per organization right now that we're working with. So it'll become very significant. Like I said before, this will be the year of, walk. We've set the table now, and we've never been in shape like this before, George. I mean, balance sheet, pipeline, now the realization of revenue. We'll see another significant spike in our next quarter coming up here in a few weeks. And it just multiple, and now the snowball is starting to go, right? So it's, there's a reason why we're so, I guess you could say proud and confident in what we're doing is we're starting to watch the beast grow, as you could say, right?
How does the, here we are middle of November-ish. How does the last 6 weeks look like in terms of pipeline and deal flow and things like that for FOBI? And as you're talking about that, if you're able to maybe touch on some of the past announcements you've made with respect to pilots, and maybe if what we may or may not be seeing. I know you can't be specific, but I got to ask is to get as much from you as I can.
Yeah. No. I think, some of them you'll see is they've grown beyond the annual budget, right? And when we look at some of the opportunities, there's a lot of moving parts. I mean, there's even some acquisitions I've made as part of these opportunities. So, building out our tech stack and, integrations and whatnot is a pretty big task, I guess you could say. And for us now, the budgets simply, are beyond what they were allotted. And it'll roll into next year in January when it's a fresh new budget. So we've definitely done the right thing. We've obviously captured the interest. We've generated a much larger opportunity than we first thought, and we're asked of on some of these. But no, it's been good. As I said in the beginning, business is about relationships and trust. And for us, what Tamer's team does on the back end, from the integrations and the art of what's possible, if you will, and then what our partner marketing team has done as far as the management of those relationships, as you said, of the customer service and support levels that we provide, it puts us in a very strong position.
Last year was crawl, this year was walk, next year is run. It seems more like you're trotting than walking right now. Seems like you're in that in between, just because the amount of deals you're announcing and the amount of venues are going live, which is incredibly exciting. How does, and it's going to be early, we're probably going to have a year end like we did last year, but I'd love it if you could give us a little peek into 2022 and, how confident are you in the run, if not, the sprint?
Well, I bought a new pair of running shoes while I was down here for next year, so we're ready to go. No, all kidding aside. Yeah, the news flow. I mean, we always have news. There's times we put out a bunch. There's times we put, we just step back and let things fall where they are. And people will see here in the revenues, right? We try to give as much transparency as we can. Sometimes maybe to a fault, perhaps, and access to myself to a fault, most definitely. I think some of our shareholders definitely take everything we do for granted, unfortunately. People have to remember too, we're year 2 here. It's I don't know what people expect, but like I said, if we've never been in a stronger position, obviously. Cash flow and balance sheet and assets and realization of revenue, team, pipeline. You got to understand too how much work it takes to integrate all these integrations we done. right? Look at the advancement we saw in 31 days of Passwall, 1.2 million new downloads. Like, go find another app that has gained 1.2 million downloads in the same time span, right? Pass Creator now, Qples integration, all of these things are being fully integrated together, right? As part of that mothership. So the pipeline is, it's I would say almost overwhelming at some points. We're actually in a position now where we're selective as to who we'll be working with, which is a very nice, obviously, thing to look at or to deal with, I guess. Usually it's, how do I get any business? But no, we're in a very, very good position. I'm very, I don't get too excited about a lot of things, but seeing it all.
I can't wait until the day you actually do get excited on screen.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, for me, the excitement comes from the process, right? Because without patience and process and vision, you have nothing, right? From day one, I built everything with infrastructure in place around technology, right? We didn't have any of these sales and marketing and all these different teams. Everything I put my money into was technology, right? I knew where the world was going. Our model of partner, build, or buy is now proving very, very successful. And we're picking off targets one by one, adding exponential value to the company and shareholders. This is just the beginning. Richard and I have a very long list of potential targets and M&A opportunities we're looking at today. Obviously we're looking for added value and revenues and whatnot, cash flow positive businesses that we can plug into. And as I said, exponentially grow their business organically by adding value to their customers they already have today. So a lot of good stuff, George. You're right. We're perhaps speed walking a bit, I would say. And I'm very excited to see, what becomes of the year end, but more so Q1 when there's the new budgets and be a lot of fireworks.
And to be clear, Rob, I think 98% of investors love what you're doing. They see the vision. They're waiting for you and they're patient to see how it's going to play out. Yeah. And look, even the Pope doesn't have 100% approval rating, let alone President Biden. So, for the 2% who are out there, just my quick 2 cents was I've been doing this for 24 and a half years, 25 years in April. And it is incredibly difficult for a small company just to get a meeting with a big company. It is incredibly difficult, let alone get a meeting, let alone get demonstrations, let alone get a sale and an advanced relationship. So if you're one of the few small percentage points of people out there that just want things to happen faster, trust me, as a founder, I can tell you nobody wants them to happen faster than Rob and founders. But small companies deal with big companies, you've got to go through the process, but they're winning. Just look at what's happened last week. Strat Hotel, because that's not a deal with Sammy Hagar, even though it's for their show. That's with Strat Hotel, Casino, and Skypod. They got multiple venues. UNLV, University of Nevada, Reno. Guys, that's the kind of third-party validation Agoracom looks for. So, Rob, I think you guys are hitting out of the park. Thanks for joining us. And it sounds like I'm going to have you back on again at least once, but I would think a little more before the end of the year. Good luck in Vegas while you're there. Keep it out of the park, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, George. I'm excited. We've got the AllNet project that's kicking off here, and we're playing a pretty significant part from system integration here. It's a great team as well, and now we've got a lot of stuff. You'll see me a few times before the end of the year, George. Don't worry.
Don't forget about the FOBI shareholder discount, room discounts at the AllNet Resort. We want to be able to show our wallet pass and get that 20% because that's where we're all going to be staying. I can see that in the future. Meetups in Vegas at AllNet. Fantastic.
Yeah, stay tuned. There's some things in the works there, George.
For everybody at home, we're staying tuned. Now your job. Thanks for joining us. If you've been watching or you've listened by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Rob Anson, CEO of FOBI, trades in Canada under FOBI, FOBI for our friends in the US, FOBI F. For those new to the story, do your due diligence, get to Agoracom stage 1, because this is a cutting edge technology company that's moving fast. winning customers, winning partners. So the story is constantly moving. Go to the profile page there for the latest. And then, of course, you're going to hop right over to the FOBI website from there to do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have an amazing day. See you guys next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and then leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel so you don't ever miss another great Agoracom small cap video.